Hi, good evening. Today is Saturday. I don't know how to explain, but I woke up at 5:15 a.m. Had to drop my son off for cricket. So morning I had to do my exercise, have my medications, and from then on it has been so much of stuff to do because my husband is away, and I decided there's so many things that I forgot. And God reminded me all of those things. And I'm like looking at myself, I've had an exhausting week of work. ChatGPT said I should take it easy because of how upset I was with the children. I did get upset a few times. I don't think I've been the most amazing, sinless person today for so many reasons, right? And am I improving? I don't think so. But my flesh fights, then the spirit comes in, right? I'm partially getting better, but I don't think I'm perfect for God. I just want to bring that topic to you, right? So, morning I woke up. I just want to bring out certain reflections of why I think my flesh is fighting with me. I started doing my workouts, and in between, I knew it's getting so close to the time to leave, 7 o'clock, right? So then I could see my exercise is taking a longer time. It's a really time consuming exercise. I have to do it because I've got so much of pain on my shoulders and everything, and it's also to lose weight, but I'm counting calories and proteins. So I need to therefore do the exercise, look after my nutrition, and protein is to gain more muscles, right? To help me build up muscles that I'm losing or the pain that I go through after 40. So that's important that I do that, right? So I'm going through that phase. And in between, I realize I haven't made things for the kids, especially Adrian, because he has a game to play. So when I had the interval, like when I do one set of my weights, I got 90 seconds. So I went running off, getting eggs done, and then that's when I thought that's what I should do next time. Like my intervals this time, I should go and do stuff for the kids. So I did some things, came back, did the rest. By then it was time to leave. So I was all sweaty, put my deodorant on, put my clothes on, and I came out. Like I was supposed to leave at 7. I had my breakfast because in between I had to make my breakfast. My daughter helped me there. I have to say that she did. So, and I have to count and measure my calories also while I do this. I did all that. I 7:10 I was ready. Okay, 7:10 I got out and I'm waiting at the garage, and then Adrian says I need to go to the toilet. So he had to go, you know, have he did a morning go, but he also felt like going again because he had milk. So he's intolerant to something in his body, and we're still waiting for that. I'm just saying what happened today. Like, and then finally we got there, we dropped him off. That went all well. In between, I did get upset with the children, especially with Abby, or something she did that annoyed me. Anyway, we came out, and I'm like, okay, I wasn't that upset with the kids. It's so funny. And then after that, I come back, and then I'm thinking, oh, I should go straight to Bunnings so that Aiden doesn't have to do things, and then we go out lunch. That's my plan. Come in, and then I realized, oh, their beds are so dirty. Put the bed sheets for washing. Then I remembered, oh, I didn't take out all the clothes that I was saving up for my brother and his family, and they don't want any of those not everything. They picked up what they wanted, and some were left over. So I decided I had to take that out because there's lots of things. And then I remember that because we do Medicare stuff, there's Bupa stuff, and then no Medicare, we get these specs for free. So I have this pile of, not, yeah, a pile of specs that the kids have used, which is small for them now. So we could donate it back to the Specsavers people because they will look after that. I'm like, wow, that's something I have to do. So after doing all of that, I'm washing the clothes, like these bed sheets and stuff. And then I put clothes for washing, put it out, taking clothes out, then loaded the dishwasher. By then, almost half the time is done. And then I'm like, oh, there's a towel rail that is broken. That was one of the things I wanted to do anyway. And Jim said, yeah, go do it. My husband said that. So I went to do that. So I got onto the Bunnings. In middle, my friend calls up to find out. And she's now in Adelaide, and she calls up to find out about another friend's home address because my brother knows that. Just see how unrelated things come up, okay? So suddenly I'm calling him up to talk about it, and then he doesn't realize that I'm alone or what is happening in my life because we don't talk much. It's okay. I want to make it really with lots of boundaries between me and my brother. That's better for both of us. We do get into arguments. So finally, I'm telling him that, and then eventually, so much happening, right? So I said half of the story to him. Then he calls me and he wants to have a chat with me. And this is just a normal call, and I'm in Bunnings by then, getting the rail, towel rail, which because it falls off from there. There are two rods on the towel rail. One doesn't sit properly and it comes off. So I'm looking for a bit more extended rod. Went hunting, and then we realized that is not possible. We can only buy one. A bit disappointed, but I said, okay, fine. If you can't find it, that's what you have to do, right? There are no rods there. There are no chrome finished rods. And I'm like, great. What do you do? So a bit annoyed and bothered by this thing. That's just what we saw, right? So I came out. Oh no, I didn't have to come out because it was 11:30. I was supposed to pick him at 12. Okay, so he calls me up. My son at that point calls me up and says, "Mommy, my game finished. Can you come and pick me up?" I said, "Oh, I'm at Bunnings, but let me go in. I'll reach there by 12 because it's only half an hour, okay, to get to that place." I got onto the highway and there was a huge traffic. When I got there? Oh, yeah. So my brother is calling. I didn't realize that my phone was out of charge, okay, getting out of charge because in the middle of the road, we decided to chat. And I didn't realize that he wants to do a WhatsApp video call. First, I like to call on phone because I know that it's less battery intensive. I don't keep charging my battery. I don't have time for all of that. And then eventually we realized, I'm talking to him and I realized that the phone battery was I just have to, I'm just doing this also for a memory point as to how hectic my busy my day was. Hectic, forget the word hectic, busy my day was. And then I'm talking, and I don't know the route, okay, by the way, I have to say that. I just know to the point where I need to turn. From there it's familiar. So I'm waiting, and it took literally 1.5 hours. I was in traffic. I'm not joking. And in between, my phone died. That gave me another stress moment. I'm screaming at my daughter a couple of times because I'm saying that she should have, and I'm just acting like my father who blames others. And my mother also has got that habit. And I'm like looking at myself and thinking, not thinking at all. I'm so in an anger mode, by all of these things that's happened now, right? And I just don't have that maturity to change my habits. um because I already told you I was worse yesterday. I'm still worse today, right? My kids are like, I don't know when, like they're walking on eggshells with me every day. That's how my house is, because of how stressed or easily offended I become. Okay, that's how I am. I don't think that's great, but that's how my nature is. So what happened next is impossible, but finally I got on, and this is where I see God's grace. Okay, He knows who I am, and I'm trying. I don't know if I'm trying, but I'm trying not to be as sinful as I am. I get to the corner of that traffic light, I turn, and then Abby said, and my daughter says, "You know what, Mommy, I know the way." I said, "Do you?" Okay, we're at a very tense moment. At least I didn't blow up as much as I would have. But I'm sure I'm not appreciative about who I am as a person, right? I turn, and then we're driving, and she said, "Oh," I said, "Is it where? This where?" This. I didn't blow up on her at that point. That's great. But I have blown up before because my phone has died down, right? We're trying to get the freaking thing working, and then we realized she's put on the charger, and it charges, and when she presses the power button, it doesn't work. That's what happened. That was a big shock for me. Okay, and then we're on the right hand side. We're trying to turn at road. I will not forget this from now on, right? I need to point this out in my recordings. And at road, okay, finally we got to turn. This was an adventure with lots of moments where my character is popping out, but it's not hurting Abby as much. She's already annoyed me while I was at home because I was asking her to do things with me, put her bed sheets on, showed her stuff where it's dirty and she has to put things for washing. So lots of blow ups has happened there, small blow ups. Okay, I don't want to, but I did. Okay, and I'm here at this point, still rushing, right? At road, we go to a point, and then Abby says, "That show road, that's where, Mommy, we have to take a ride." I believed her and I turned because I really don't know the place. And she also said, "Mommy, I know the way." And she said that so that she gives me the positivity. She also doesn't know properly, right? We're not confident. And then we took that show road, and we're driving past. Aiden even is trying to call me. There's no phone. He has decided, from his side of the story is, he's decided that Mummy has got into a crash. Mummy is no more anywhere there to find because her phone is not working. He has no idea what has happened to me at this point in time. And that is what's happened actually. And I had 2 or 3%, and my phone would not switch on. Now, the remarkable miracle thing is, God knew that I reached my point of no coming back, and that I'm about to break down. Okay, that's the word I want to use, break down. So I decided, Abby didn't know, she kept quiet, and I knew that she didn't know anymore after this. So I didn't scream at anyone, thankfully. Okay, all these blow ups is happening in between, but this time I didn't scream. I turned to the right, said, "I'm turning." I parked, and I tried to switch, and I said, "God, please help me here. What are you trying to show me here?" That's what I'm telling him. 1.5 hours sitting in a traffic. My son is waiting. What do you want me to do here? I said. That's all I said. He knows how I talk to him, right? Like, I have so much of it. I don't. But I just said that to him because of my pure exhaustion. I switched on the phone. I don't think he has a problem with me calling myself. What bloody phone? I think I should stop, but just need to say those words out to you. My language, I need to change my language. How fleshly I was in those moments, okay? I switched, and I'm tearing up just to tell you this. I switched on my phone, mate. You need to know this. Switched on, and my phone worked for a brief 1 minute. Google came back on, Google Maps, and I reached at the destination where my son was waiting. As soon as I reached that park, my phone switched off. I see the hand of God. I really do. And then I drove. And then I don't know where my son is, right? I can't call him. He's thinking what has happened to my mom and my sister. We drove slowly, and then we got next to the park and he got in. My daughter was laughing after that. I also laughed. The sheer relief we felt out of that pressure. Abby said, Mummy, we had an adventure today. I think it was a really fruitful day. Yeah, in her terms, it was. I was partly done. And, I'm not finished yet. Went back. Aiden had a bath. I then had washed clothes, like those sheets, put some out. I went to Amazon and bought some good sheets for us because I know I didn't have it. I think today was like a lot of things of cleanup, cleanup of things or buy things because it's broken. So I did those things. It's not minor things I had to spend money on. I did because I was like, it's enough. It's enough of thinking afterwards and nothing happens. And I'm like, whatever happens, I have to do this and then maybe finish off life, like finish off everything. Maybe I might not be able to spend any more on anything else. These are important in our lives right now. That's what I decided. And later on, what happened was I did that, came back and did all of that. And then again, we haven't had our lunch. So I refreshed, I have eaten refreshed, and we went out. I'm not done yet. We had our lunch maybe around 1:30. I blew up again at that point because I'm asking Adrian on the way to the car. My phone is dead even then, right? I can't go. I don't know the lunch place because the kids wanted somewhere. First, I wanted to go to somewhere else, but Abby insisted she wanted to go to Eros. It's another shop. And I didn't know where it was. Adrian's phone was better off than mine. And I was so annoyed by then, okay? I have to say that. I'm asking, and Adrian said, You have your phone, right? And that annoyed me. So I said, Yeah, I do have my phone. I tried to switch it on and it started to drain battery. And then I shouted at him. Said, You have a phone, Adrian. And the feeling of nobody wants to cooperate, they just want to scroll. That came out and I lashed on him. And then he stopped because he knows the problems we had yesterday. So he helped out and he said it's near there and somewhere he spotted. That's all I wanted. I just wanted him to cooperate, to tell me exactly where. He doesn't even have to Google map me. He just has to tell me. I think I basically haven't trained my children, or neither has a Jim, to involve themselves into tasks. And it could be because my husband also doesn't want to do that and he's never been trained that way. I have been, and that annoys me. Okay, so okay, my mother tried to train us. I was willing to listen, but my brother wasn't. So I have to say that part also to the story. So after that, um, I I went to the place. Okay, I'm just telling you what happened there. So I went there. I said, oh, this is a bad place. I don't want to be here. It's not going to be good. But when I went there, the environment, the location was all good for us. Okay, so I think my kids did the right thing by taking us there. But when I went there and we had, we picked up the initial staff we were working with was fine. So the last bit was the dessert. So I called the dessert agent said he wanted something. So some donut, some sugary donut balls are there in that place. And I'm saying, so there was this different dessert there and I didn't know what to call it. My kids were still having their lunch. So I called it Buno. It was Bueno, Bueno donut balls. Okay, I didn't pronounce it well. Those were kids, they're not like teenagers, right? They're like wondering what am I saying. Like Bueno iced coffee, okay, iced chocolate drink and Bueno donut balls. That's what I wanted to say. I called her Bruno and she didn't understand. I said donut balls, She didn't understand that also. And I was like losing my confidence, my patience. She came up with something and gave me you know, just iced coffee, like iced chocolate, right? That wasn't helpful. So one of her staff members there said, "You didn't say that." I said, "I did. I mispronounced it." And I made it very clear, like, I was a bit firm with them. And my kids were surprised. Even I was surprised that I could talk like I was so annoyed by the end of it because I didn't get what I wanted, right? And then I'm like thinking, wow, what a day, you know? And I'm just thinking on what all add-ons I'm having, And I think I shouldn't have talked like that to those kids because they really didn't understand. All I had to do was show them the pictures that I saw there. Instead, I confused them, and whatever I made up, I said it, but I said it firm. Like that, don't tell me that I didn't say that. I didn't like that. That was my problem. Again, that flesh came out. Okay. Now I'm driving to to Costco, trying to find something for my son for his shoes because his shoes are all worn out and torn. I'm telling you, it is torn. And I feel so bad for him. So I've tried and none of the shoes fit him. We went doing other types of shopping because we have to get our daily shopping done for the next week, the school week. I'm like, wow, did that. Then I said, oh, North Lakes, we still have to get our specs because we do this yearly stuff. So, in order to get the specs, I said, okay, let's go do your shoe stuff. When shoe hunting, the prices of the shoes were really extremely expensive from my point of view. So I said, no, we can't get that, right? I had to run from the shoe because by then it was 4:30. All right. Doing all of that, by 5 it closes, so we had only 5 minutes. We were running to Specsavers. In 5 minutes they gave me all the specs. I did that. Then I went to Coles to get the remaining food that I need for the week. Did all of that, came home. I baked the Costco stuff and also the chicken wings from Coles. Then I folded all my bed sheets, and then I watched things with the kids. And now, by then, did I blow up on them? I think, yeah, I blew up a little. No, I didn't blow up after that. I'm just thinking if I did. I don't think I did. No, I did. No, those were the moments I really got annoyed with my children, right? Yeah, after, yeah, I think a little. No, I didn't. So I think I was good after that. But my point is, it has not been easy. Okay, this day has not been, this week, I wouldn't say this day. I am convinced that my Lord will give me the strength to be on my best behavior every day. And I'm going to pray hard for it, and I ask God to give me the grace. And I'm, even though majority of the day wasn't as perfect as it should be, I'm convinced that I did my best today. So I just wanted everyone to hear that. Thank you so much for listening in. Good night. Bye.